Why, hello.
Hello.
And welcome back to another season of The Circle.
Yes. This is the next episode of A Conversation with Kely, episode 92. Believe it or not, Allie, The Circle is back. It's actually been quite a bit because I believe the last season was in September, and we have not talked about it since then. And as Netflix likes to do, they just unceremoniously release another season. They just randomly announce, like, oh, there's going to be a season 4. But now here we are. It was a bit later than expected, but we're here and we're very excited. As always, I'm here with my lovely and beautiful co-host, Allie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I've just had a chill day today, but I went to the mall for a little bit with my mom. We only went to like 2 stores. But other than that, just kind of like hung out today. It was good.
I had my very last class in the college I'm currently in, so I'll be getting my associates in like a week. So that's exciting. I'm interested in seeing how that goes. But also very exciting is we are not doing this just the two of us. We actually do have a guest co-host with us that will be on for this season. Mainly because of a player that's on that he's, really excited to root for. I don't believe he's watched The Circle prior to this, but he has been newly converted to hopefully becoming a fan of this show. So we love having him here, Mike, aka Junko.
Woo!
Circle message. Shit, revealed me already. Circle message. Hello. Heart eye emoji. I am very excited to be here. Happy face.
You gotta have all the extensive emojis. Like, it's not the circle.
I'm very clearly Junko and Enoshima, and I would normally say it's punishment time, but it's not, because I chose to be here, and I'm very excited to finally get into the circle. It's been long overdue. I've played a few games of it, and actually did pretty good in said games. Yeah. Shout out to that one time I almost won.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Also,
and our names are also reflective of other circle games we've played. That's why we're the nicknames that we are for those who don't get the joke. We just
all right. Well, circle send message. It's time to. I don't remember what they call it when you reveal yourself to somebody on the circle.
It's just like a face-to-face thing.
Yeah.
The circle, I think, is a very unique concept because it really is like truly a social game in the way that other games aren't. There's no real competitions. Well, there's games and things like that, but they don't really amount to much of anything aside from like if you're caught being a catfish. It really is like truly about just having a really good social game. There's not like a jury or anything like that. So it's a very different kind of game than what we usually see. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy watching it as much as I do within the last 2 seasons. Although I was not a fan of the last season we covered very much at all.
You still need to watch, You still need to watch season 1.
I do need to watch season 1. Maybe I'll do that. I'll get around to that soon. I will say this season I was quite excited for. I was kind of dubious, like I said, because of the way last season turned out, but I was really hoping that this season could.
Anything, so he might get hungry.
Oh.
If he won't eat that kid.
We're just gonna go ahead and do that. Because that's.
That was funny.
Distracting me. But anyway, so I was very excited to see how this season was going to turn out. And we'll have Mike give his thoughts in a bit after his sister's done talking to him. Allie, how did you feel about this first batch of episodes?
Oh my gosh. I was obviously a little weary because of last season, but
okay, circle reveal Junko Enoshima really quick.
Hi.
Oh, the Christmas hat.
We stand.
Yes.
Also, Janae is entertained.
Oh, yeah. throw in my own little if you know, you know. Apparently, these two are married with the last name of Ikyik.
But yeah, I've been like, obviously I was a little weary because of last season, but so far the first 4 episodes are very enjoyable, and like this cast is just so likable and so fun. So I'm like, I'm hoping this honestly has potential to be the best season.
Yeah, in terms of the 3 seasons we've watched, I think this is easily the strongest start. Like, I really like this batch of players. I really like, you know, the what we're getting from them. I think they all have very interesting sort of stories, all different personalities, and I think overall, like, if it continues to be as strong as these first 4, we're looking at what could very easily be, I think, the best season yet. Mike, I know this was your first time watching. What do you think of these first 4 episodes?
With all due respect, I'm going to be honest. Come back to me more when you guys are like recapping around episode 3-ish.
Okay.
So it's no, I think it's no secret. I do have a friend who is on this circle season. That's kind of a spoiler as to when said person comes in.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, if you're watching this, you already know.
Yes.
You should already know. It's been 6 days.
Yeah.
And that's on you, not me. But I have a friend who comes in, and my bias is really showing here, but I couldn't really get captivated until that episode. I was like, yeah, that's my boy.
Aww.
Shout out to Alex Brizard, though, aka Nathan.
Yes, we do want to bring that up. Alex Brizard is someone that we've all interacted with before, so it's very exciting to see him on the show. We'll get more into him in episode 3 because he's not introduced till then. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the first few people that
I got spoiled, and you're gonna be too.
I mean, I wouldn't really say it's a spoiler. It's not like
I did not. No, you told Allie, Allie told me, and I'm not happy that you guys are like, oh, Alex doesn't come in until episode 3. We checked the wiki.
Well, because I didn't want you to expect him to
I
be
was
in the
about
first
to
2.
watch the episodes.
I didn't want to like get your hopes up and like make him think he's gonna be there immediately because he wasn't.
I don't give a shit.
But anyway, we're going to talk about this first batch of players. So we start off with Frank. He is 28. He's a social worker and is from Maryland. He likes to call himself the big one with the big personality and is very personable and likable. He says that he's body positive despite the negativity surrounding around people who are bigger size. So he plans to play as himself. And he wants to bring in Southern charm and feels that coupled with his therapist skills, that is really going to help him within this season. He says he can be a little shady, but he will ease it in there because he doesn't want a target on his back. And I will be honest, I fucking love this guy. Like I
like him a lot.
Me too.
So entertaining to watch. I think what we get of Frank in this episode seems like he has the potential to go really far in this game. I think he's got a really good, social game right off the bat, but he's also someone that I think people are just naturally gravitating towards. And in general, I think he could be easily one of the best players of this season. Just from this first episode, just from the first week alone, I think he does some really great work, and I'm very excited for him. Now, we don't typically draft for the circle just because there's new people coming in every single week. You can't really do a draft.
I'm drafting Nathan and Jared. So
you can't really do a draft for the circle, but if we
because you never know,
Frank would have definitely been one of my draft picks for sure. Because I
am only drafting Frank and Jared.
That is fair. But Allie, what did you think of Frank?
I adore Frank so far. He's just so likable. He's so fun, just very cheerful. He's just got that very sociable personality, and he definitely gives winner vibes for sure.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I think he's gonna be pretty fun to watch the whole season.
Yeah, I think so too. He's definitely someone to watch out for, I think, in the end.
Oh yeah. All right. Our next person is Ling. She's 25. She's a brand marketing consultant from San Francisco, which she calls the Yay area.
Yes.
She is first and a half gen Chinese American because both of her parents are immigrants. They were working to make sure there was food on the table. And she was raised culturally by MTV and VH1. She lives and breathes social media and loves to make connections digitally. She'll be going into this game as fun size and a firecracker. She plans to play as herself because she wouldn't want to play as anyone else. And she brings up how she is on the cusp of millennials despite them being kind of burnt out, but also Gen Z, which will bring out her fun side. When making her profile, she brings out a photo of herself eating corn, which she hopes will show she doesn't take herself too seriously and then show off her personality.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
I played a Big Brother game back in like the Twitter days.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up for eviction, and for my speech, all I did was sit there and eat a chicken nugget.
Yeah, I love Ling. Ling is definitely one of the people that like I think is.
I like her, and I really like her self-confidence, especially as someone who's like, like a person of color and such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we need more of this confidence.
Yes,
I agree.
In general,
I really like the way.
I also just hit my chin with my hand by accident.
Oh no!
Do it again. That was funny.
No, don't do that.
I blinked and missed it. Do it again.
Don't do that. But no, in general, I really like Ling a lot. I think she's one of the most entertaining presences on this season. And I think she also has the potential to make it far. I was a little bit worried about her early on, which we'll talk about. But I think she does some really good work towards the end. And I think if she towards the end of this weekend, I think if she continues to do that, I think she's gonna make it far.
Yeah. I adore her, like,
so
much. She just has such a cute personality, and like, like I echo with the self-confidence things. Like, that's amazing.
She's like unapologetically herself too, which is great.
Like, she's just very like down to earth, and then very nice, and just very fun, and she's just so funny too. Like, I think she's hilarious, and
she is.
Yeah, I was also a little weary at first, just like in the beginning too. But I think she has potential to make it pretty far, but we'll definitely see.
Why do you squeak like that? Holy shit.
What?
Yeah, for sure. So the next person we're going to talk about is John. He is a social media content creator from New Jersey, which immediately, like, big red flag, because New Jersey people typically are not great in reality shows. Maybe they're good, like, player wise, but they're not good people most of the time. So like
you're one to speak.
So he is as
it takes one to know one, doesn't it?
He's obsessed with The Sopranos and grew up in the same hometown that it was filmed in. He got a tattoo of St. Anthony on his chest. He says people like to portray people looking on the outside looking in, which is not how it works. He wants to play as his mom, knowing that the matriarch is always the most important part of an Italian family. He knows so much about his mom and feels playing as Carol will help him win the game. And when making his profile, he tries to portray her as an Italian mom who is fun and personable, loves listening to Rod Stewart. And I gotta be honest, like, I was... What?
Oh, this is the guy who looks just like Victor.
Yeah.
Like, this guy looks exactly like Victor from BB-18.
Yeah, he does actually have a very similar look. I was worried about John Victor at first. Like, the second I saw him, I'm like, this guy's not going to go very far. But I think the way he's playing right now is some of the most impressive catfishing I've seen, like, in any season.
I mean, definitely so far not as good as Alyssa.
Oh, no. I don't think I feel like that's a very big shoes to fill. Like, Alyssa, the way she played, like, I don't think anyone's going to be able to be on that level for a long time. But I do think John has the potential to at least come close. Like, the way he's playing right now, I think is really working out for him.
If you mix the pot with a sneaker, is it a shoe stir?
Sure. But no, just in general, like, I was honestly very impressed by what I'm seeing of John. I think that the way that he's playing, I really do like, and he's someone that I generally do hope gets far.
Oh yeah. Like, at first he gave me like early boot vibes, but honestly, I echo that. Like he's playing so well.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people are on his side and everything. And he actually is like a very down to earth person. I'm really enjoying him. And also, hey Casey.
Hi Casey. But yeah, no, definitely liking John so far. Let's talk about
Sousa.
No, not that.
No,
not that. But anyway, the next person that Allie's gonna be talking about, very fitting because she has the same name as her. So,
all right, this next person is Alyssa. She's 27. She's 27 from New York.
Funny.
And she's an assistant to a sex coach. She's very confident and
same job and no.
She's very confident and very open speaking about people who have great sex and feels that can play into her strategy with how open she is to talk about anything. And she will be playing as herself. And I'm just going to say, I honestly really like her. Like she's probably one of my top favorites right now, just because she is honestly a very sweet person.
Yeah. And then what?
Oh, I think she froze. Oh no.
I think she melted.
Oh, you went out for like a second. The last thing we heard, she's a very sweet person.
Oh, okay. That was weird. Yeah. I don't know what happened. But yeah, she's very sweet, very social. I feel like she's gonna like make it. I can see her because like it seems like most people trust her.
Yeah.
I can for sure see her making it to the end or like come close. And yeah, I think she's honestly like one of my favorites right now for sure.
Yeah, I really like Alyssa a lot, actually. I think that she's someone...
Oh, do you now?
I mean, yes, I do love this Alyssa, but this is a different Alyssa. Not quite as... I don't love her quite as much as this Alyssa, but I really like her in the game
but
so
on
far.
A scale of this Alyssa to Alyssa Lopez, where does...
I definitely like her more than Alyssa Lopez.
Why? What's wrong with Alyssa Lopez?
I
like that Alyssa. Okay.
I wasn't that impressed by her game. I'm like
because she's a woman.
I like her a lot, like outside of the house for sure. But I also did enjoy her in the house.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, when your local New Jersey boy starts getting in on those reality opinions, pounce on him like that.
Anyway,
get him where it hurts right away.
Okay,
works every time.
Okay, yes, I'm terrible. We know. Anyway, we're talking about this.
It's okay. You didn't choose to be a Jersey boy.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Anyway, talking about this Alyssa, though, I really do the way that she's playing so far. I think she has a really strong social game, and I'm going to echo what Allie said. That like
not this one.
I do see her as someone who, if she continues to play the way she is, I think could potentially be locked for the end. I really do. I think that there are a couple things that could potentially be a problem for her, but right now she seems to have one of the strongest social games. Everyone seems to really like her. And I just think that she's someone who like really seems like she's doing a lot more strategic work as well that I wasn't quite expecting, and just in general I think is really playing a very solid social game. So I'm liking Alyssa a lot.
I have a challenge in 50 minutes, guys.
Oh no.
Well, we'll see how we're not going to get this done in 15 minutes, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I will say like right away at first when I first saw Alyssa's like bio when she was introducing herself, I was like kind of weary. I was like iffy, and I'm like I don't know how to feel about her. But then like I grew to love her so much, and she's literally like one of my top favorites.
I love how openly she talks about like her career as well. Like she finds a way to like really kind of like normalize it, and that's something I really appreciate. Oh, he's got a challenge for like an org. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Shout out to Domination Island. It's so much fun. It's on Facebook.
Yes.
So
the first circle chat of the season goes down. Alyssa immediately takes a liking to Ling, and Frank seems to really like Alyssa as well. Ling is the first to speak, and they all feel that she's super genuine. However, Alyssa notices there isn't a ton of information about her, which makes her very suspicious. And this is the thing I like about this cast. I think, Allie, you would agree with me. They have it's like the season 2 cast, but I know people complain that cast was like a little too like game body. So I feel like it's like that cast, but they have a little bit more like personality to them, a little bit more of a story to them, a little bit more to like latch onto. Like I feel like it's like a perfect blend of like
that. Like they're very strategic, but they can also like really have fun and like have other like personal conversations.
Yeah, I feel like they found that perfect blend. Like last season, we had people that were too personal. They weren't playing the greatest games, but there were some good personalities in there. And then season 2, we have people playing really great games, but we didn't really know their stories that much. Whereas season 4, they've now found that perfect blend between people who have really great personalities and really good like personal stories, but are also like playing very hard. So I think they've done.
Yeah. I will also say I thought Frank and Alyssa would actually be like this duo, but like we'll talk more about. Obviously, we'll talk more about that. But I literally thought they were going to be like a power duo or something.
Yeah. So John seems to take a liking to Alyssa as well. And as his mom, he bonds with her over them both being Italian. Also bonds with Ling with her makeup. And she also really loves Frank's energy. And John really has like done his research here when it comes to his mom. Like he really has like, this is not like a scenario with like Jack in season 2 where he was just so bad as Emily didn't like really did not like making himself convincing. Like John really is convincing here, and I think he's like just early on is doing some really good work. So she really likes Frank's energy. It's then time to meet the next few players that we get here, which Ali's going to speak of this first one.
All right, the next is Crissa. She's 31 and she became the 13th woman to play for the Harlem Globetrotters and now does basketball influence social media content. She never knew she would have this platform and never knew when the players were in front of her.
Rowe.
And never knew when the players were in front of her and feels this game could work as that. She plans to play as herself and she's super genuine and sweet. She's a lesbian, athlete, mother, wife, and so she has so many different things that people can relate to. And she wants to show she has nothing to hide. And for her profile, she makes sure it's one of her holding a basketball.
Restrooms this way.
I really like Crissa a lot. I didn't, another person that like I didn't really know how she was going to be going in, but of what we're seeing of her, I think she's playing very well. It seems like she has some really good connections early on. There's one thing that happens with her towards the end that we'll talk about that I'm a little bit worried of. I don't know if she's as locked for like the end as say like a Frank or Alyssa is. But I do think she's playing pretty well.
I will say I do like Crissa a lot. She's very genuine. She's just very kind.
Yeah, very likable.
I feel like with her, I can see her making it kind of far, but I feel her I can see her coming up short.
Yeah, I can too. So we'll see.
Aw. I love that.
Wow. Well. Hopefully, this John that gives this John some good luck.
Right? But the next person Kevin's going to talk about.
Oh yeah. Okay. So next up we have Josh Brubaker, or as he likes to be referred to, Brew.
Shut Brew.
He's 25. He's a radio host living in West Hollywood, California. No, I'm not going to talk in that voice.
It's Australia, mate.
He describes himself as a golden retriever, mate. He's kind, smart, and funny.
Playing as a pup. Just on the baby.
I'm gonna stop.
Gonna get some macas.
He has a pretty big platform on social media due to his podcast, which he thinks he can maintain within the circle. Which
a conversation with Broly.
Shout out to a fellow podcaster. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Plans to play
a Brewversation with Broly.
Not that. For his profile, he actually struggles to type a message at first, which was really funny.
Oh, that was.
So I will say this about Brew.
Watching message, I just shit my pants.
Oh my god.
Watching him, I certainly hope not. Watching him at first, I wasn't really a big fan. I thought this guy's going to be really annoying. He's going to talk about like he's going to make it super obvious like who he is. I didn't think he was going to get super far because of that. Because I mean,
He's not
everyone
gonna get
knows.
Jafar.
Like right off the bat,
Lord.
everyone knows who this guy is. Like we'll get into that. Like
Hey,
everybody...
you mute me.
Okay.
Everybody in the cast seems to know like who this guy is. And I don't think that he's like, for me, like one of the stronger players, but he's someone that I enjoy watching. Like I'm not disliking him as much as I thought I would. So I would say overall I like him. I don't think he's like playing that great of a game, to be honest, but I think he's pretty good.
I think he's really fun. Like obviously he's not my number one or anything.
No.
But, like I do think he has a very fun personality and he's just like someone that people can get along with. But yeah, his game is not the best as of right now, but yeah.
I don't see him going super far.
No, I can see him being like one of the next few boots. Maybe not.
I think he's gonna go in the next like batch of episodes.
Yeah, I don't see him going like first, but maybe like
No.
maybe like one of the last ones of this next batch.
Yeah, same.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a little bit off topic at this point, but quick question of the day, everybody. Scenario.
Okay.
You're cast for the circle. Would you play as yourself? Or would you play as somebody else? If the latter, who would you want to play as and why?
I'd play as this beautiful woman right here because
I would target you immediately.
She's far more likable than me. She's someone who's like way better socially. I would come in and people just like would see me as like just like kind of like a big threat and things like that. And I think that she in general
sees you as a threat. No one.
I think she can just get a lot farther.
I honestly don't know. Like, there's a part of me would play as myself because just like I feel like I could do pretty well socially and everything. But then part of me would also have fun playing as someone like maybe I don't know, one of my favorite celebrities or maybe one of my family members or something.
My advice, I would never go in as a celebrity. That is never a good idea.
Or maybe just one of my friends. I don't know, but either or, I would just have a lot of fun playing the circle.
See, I would play as a water bottle. I'm wet, I'm dick-shaped, and who's gonna play with me? Everybody.
That is wonderful. But let's get back to the conversation. You know what?
I would actually never play as myself.
No, you know what that reminded me of? The next person we're talking about.
Also Janaea would play as themselves.
Yes, I did see that. But you know what that statement reminded me of, Mike? How I feel about the next person we're talking about, because I'm not a big fan.
Right.
Go ahead.
Water bottles?
This next person is Parker. She's 21. She's a college student from Miami, Florida. She's very basic, and only personality traits are being in a sorority and going out and partying.
Bestie, you're the last person who should be calling someone basic.
That is the most accurate thing she says in her entire description. I will say that right now.
Yeah. The circle is all about trust, and she knows if people see her, they won't put trust in her. So she will be going in as a 56-year-old guy named Paul, who also happens to be her dad. She feels going in as a married man will give off a trusting vibe, and she plans to be very manipulative and cutthroat. In her profile, she changes his occupation because she doesn't understand what it is, so locks it in as a marriage therapist. And she thinks having that edge will make everyone feel more comfortable with Paul overall. Okay, I don't dislike her. I just find her a little bit irritating.
Lily Truscott, I swear to God, if you keep talking, I don't know.
But she's she seems like a very nice person. It's just, she doesn't really know a ton, like, about, like, older music and all that stuff. Like, she just knows about, like, TikTok, and she knows about, like, basically Gen Z stuff.
Parker is easily one of the most boring people I think the circle has ever cast. There is, like, nothing interesting. And here's the thing. I think that's
because you're not on it.
I think this is why I don't like Parker very much, because the majority of this cast is very dynamic. They all have like really interesting personalities, really interesting stories, and Parker in comparison just doesn't really have much to latch onto. So I just didn't really enjoy watching her that much in these first few episodes.
Yeah, I feel like she would do so much better as herself instead of her dad.
Yeah, I think that's also like a big thing of mine. Like, we'll get into it, but like, my God, some of the worst catfishing I've ever seen in this show. Like, this season so far has like the best kind of catfishing and the worst kind of catfishing, and we'll get into both of those. But
yeah
the best of both worlds.
Very much so.
All right, John continues to bond with people as Carol and brings up her snoodle dog.
Wait, John's playing as Carol?
Yeah.
That's funny because shout out to John Buckley because his mom's name's Carol too.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
Oh shit, that's funny.
That's funny.
They all notice the new players, and everyone seems to find Paul very bland, and John doesn't seem to trust him at all.
You and me both. Everyone else.
Right?
Wow, they noticed the new players. Oh wow, getting somewhere.
Parker notices Carol's profile and recognizes. Excuse me. And recognizes she will have to be careful when talking one-on-one with her because she has to make herself seem as authentically Paul as possible.
Y'all, I'm just going to say it. Sorry, I don't mean to cut in here. If I were to go on the circle, I'm playing as Heatherly Cameron.
Oh my God.
Please do not do that. Anyway.
No, please don't.
I'll make her fun, don't worry.
We don't want that.
I'll get sued, but...
Parker notices Carol's profile and recognizes she will have to be
I want to tell people she's my wife.
And recognizes
can you please let Allie speak? I don't want this to go too much longer.
And
That's what she said.
Oh my God. Parker notices Carol's profile and recognizes she will have to be careful when talking one-on-one with her because she has to make herself seem as authentically Paul as possible because she could very much pick her apart.
Spoilers. She does not do a great job with that. That's all I will say.
Crissa also doesn't recognize who Rod Stewart is,
which is so funny to me. Like this
so
whole joke of like who's Rod Stewart and things like that. I thought was just really funny. But that's another thing that I think that John's doing a great job with is that he knows who Rod Stewart is. He's sticking to it, and it's working. Like people are like, it's not like, oh, I don't know who Rod Stewart is, so therefore this person's a catfish. I don't know who Rod Stewart is because Carol's clearly older, and I just don't have that same passion. So again, I think. But
do y'all think he's sexy?
Is that a Rod Stewart song?
Yes, yes, it is.
That I did not know. Oh my God!
Oh, you're just like the rest of you're just like the rest of these circle kids. You fit in just fine on this cast.
I know Copacabana. Like I know that song.
Is that Rod Stewart? Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I thought that was someone else. Allie, Google it.
Google
it.
Rod Stewart is Copacabana. That's like his most popular song.
No, it's not.
Oh wait, no, that's Barry Manilow.
Point proven.
I just looked. It's Barry Manilow.
It's Barry Manilow.
Oh
okay.
My God.
Anyway.
Forever Young. I know that song. I know the first cut is the deepest.
All right. Some of them recognize Brew knowing his radio show. And John knows he can't react much because Carol wouldn't know who he is. And Alyssa also notices him.
Again, like I said with Brew, like not really hiding this well at all. He's probably thinking he is, but like literally everyone knows who he is. Like it's not working.
No.
You know what? I love the Spice Girls. Their song Wings is definitely their most popular.
Yeah, we're not there yet, so we'll talk about that once we get there.
Oh, I kind of forgot that they were. Oh, spoilers.
We're not there yet.
Alyssa tries to bond with them over what their memoirs would be titled, and Crissa admits she doesn't know what that means, and Parker decides to go along with that, which everyone finds suspicious.
Which was so bad on Parker's end.
It was so bad.
Very much just seemed like Parker was only doing that because, oh, well, Chris has now said it, so therefore I can just jump in. But like Parker, you're playing like a 50-year-old guy who's like supposed to be I don't even know what he is because Parker doesn't even seem to know what he is. But like I would assume he would know what a memoir is.
Mm-hmm. She says she's never heard that term and didn't want to answer and expose herself so early.
Ravenclaws, am I right?
Yeah, I don't know about that. So they then all play. We get to my favorite part of the circle. We play a game. We love when we play these pointless fucking games called Been There, Done That. They will be shown
Been
various
there,
things
done that.
and then send a thumbs up or down if they did it or not. And once they all decided, results will be revealed for others to discuss among themselves. There's not a ton to really talk about here when it comes to that, so we're just going to move on. Everyone then is shocked to see the first alert of the season, and they're then told they must rate each other immediately. And as always, we don't get everyone's rankings here, but we're going to go off the ones that we do see. For Crissa, she puts Frank at number 1. She puts Paul at number 3 and Carol at number 6. Carol puts Alyssa at number 1. Frank puts Carol at number 1, Brew at number 2, Ling at number 4, and Paul at 6. Brew puts Crissa at 1 and Paul at 6. Ling puts Frank at 1 and Brew at 5.
Oh my god, I thought you said Ewing at one point.
No.
Oh my god.
And Carol puts and Paul puts Carol at 2 and Alyssa at 6, and Alyssa puts Ling at 4 and Crissa at 6. Not really much to say here because we don't really get to see like a lot of the reasonings behind this or anything like that.
Yeah. It was just kind of like day one rankings.
Yeah. So Parker decides to start a chat with Frank and Brew, thinking they'll both be pretty high in the rankings. And they talk a bit about Frank getting to walk the red carpet for a fashion show that he hosted. And Parker seems to love him and bonds with him about how much her older sister loves fashion, which this is, I think, easily one of Parker's biggest mistakes. She spends the majority of her time catfishing, not really talking about what Paul himself has done, but what, my daughter's done this, my daughter's done that. Like, I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to like find ways to relate to these people. But the problem is she's done so little like research into her father, spent so little time like trying to, figure out like ways to like, prove that it's him. That she just does not do a good job at making herself look convincing here. This is easily just some of the weakest catfishing I think I've ever seen on this.
It was not good.
Yeah, just really bad all around. Mm-hmm. So she also tries to bond with Brew about his most memorable interview, and Brew talks about how he interviewed Carrie Underwood, which is interesting.
I used to adore her, but I kind of just drifted away from it.
Yeah.
I think she's an anti-vaxxer, but
yes, she is. But we will not be discussing that because that is not of relevance to this podcast. So we're going to continue to talk about the circle here.
I disagree. You should get vaccinated.
I'm
just trying to rebel here.
Anyway, Ellie, go ahead.
All right. John, meanwhile, makes a chat with all the girls, wanting to really showcase her as a protector for the girls, and he lets them know Carol has their back, and the girls will have to be there for each other.
Honestly, this is a feminist icon right here.
Yes.
This is a move for feminism.
Yeah. And it's working so far. Like, this definitely is working for John. I think it's probably one of his best moves in the game so far because it doesn't really seem like, aside from what happens at the end here, it seems like most of these women like have his back.
Yeah, I think so too. They all seem to really appreciate this, and Ling tries to bond with everyone over their occupations, specifically Alyssa being a sex therapist. And Alyssa talks about how much she's able to help women heal from trauma and wants to bring it to the masses. And
I really liked this discussion.
And Crissa talks about playing basketball. Oh, me too. I thought this was just like a very like wholesome conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought, again, I like how much Alyssa's like trying to normalize like her occupation and things like that. That's one of the things that like really sticks out to me about her is like she's so like unafraid to like talk about that stuff and like speak freely about it. And I think that's something that I really like because it doesn't just feel like, oh, Alyssa is just like the person that works for like a sex coach. Like there's more to her than that. And I like that the show is showcasing that here.
Yeah, for sure. She's just a very like nice person.
Yeah, very genuine.
Very. John is very much mortified reading all of this and realizes he has to reply as his mom, talking about spicing up her relationship with her husband, and Alyssa lets her know she has her. Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah, that was such a funny moment when John like realizes, oh fuck, what have I gotten myself into? Now I gotta like speak as my mom. But again, he does it so well. Like he doesn't show that like he has any like hesitation about this whatsoever, which I think is just really impressive.
He's like,
so like even something that like he was like you could see like didn't really want to do, he still does it.
Yeah, he's like, oh great, now I got to talk about my parents' sex lives.
Yeah.
That reminds me. So to actually answer like my little question of the day here, I think I would honestly play as Henry.
Okay. Interesting.
That's funny.
No, because like I feel like it's something unexpected, like as is Henry, honestly.
All right. Well, if Henry's on the circle, we know who it is.
Spoilers, yeah. No, but imagine how much fun it would be to play a game as Henry.
That would be interesting.
It would be funny.
Henry, you have been blocked.
Yeah.
Well, John can't believe he actually had to do it, but feels this is really good for his game.
Yes.
And the official rankings come out, and they are as follows.
Yes.
With your mom, number 1. Oh, got her.
With the ratings, it's supposed to here. Let me fix that. It's supposed to be like this, right?
It's you're reading it bottom to top.
Yeah. I think you mixed on these notes. You put the number 1 and 2 wrong.
No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's all good. I fixed it. Okay.
Yeah, I put 8 instead of 7. You're right.
Kevin Falk is watching you. I'm kidding.
You also keep putting John as number 1 when he's not.
Yeah.
Hey, Jersey boys gotta stick together. You get it.
Okay, you can read the ratings now.
All right. So, number 7, we have Paul, which is very obvious based on how Parker's been playing him. And then 6 is Ling, which like I'm very sad about that because like I love her so much. Like,
is that a beer? Oh wait, no, my bad. That's Youngling, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, Ling just needs to like work her social game a little more. But like
I was worried for Ling at this point. I was like, oh no, please don't be someone that like is like super iconic that goes like way too early. But
oh, I know, I would not like that.
Yeah.
And then number 5 is Brew, 4 is Alyssa, 3 is Crissa, and then the 2 influencers are John and Frank.
This was not surprising. I feel like they made the best like impressions out of everyone. Like everyone seemed to like really gravitate towards those 2. So I wasn't really like surprised about that.
Yeah, and then John was number 2, Frank was number 1, and they are the influencers, which they get to block the first person.
Yes, which we'll get to a little later on.
All right. As the top influencer, Frank gets to look at 2 profiles and has to choose between them. The profiles he's given are either Jared or Trey.
Yes, which I loved this twist. Here's the thing. You guys know last season I fucking hated like every twist they threw at us. I feel like this season they're already doing a much better job because it doesn't just feel like random. It's not like an overpowered thing or anything. Like this is something that I think is legitimately really cool. Like you have the potential to like look at 2 people to come into the game and oh, there's a child on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, baby Spencer.
This video is gonna be made.
Junko and Oshima.
This video is got to get made for kids because there's a child on the screen.
Yeah, the circle is made for kids.
Well, YouTube's stupid like that sometimes. So anyway,
what's this going to be the only conversation with Kely episode that's made for kids?
Yeah, honestly, I could see it happening.
It turns out the player he has chosen to enter are going to be played by none other than 2 of the Spice Girls themselves, Mel B, Scary Spice, and Emma, Baby Spice, which this, I'm just going to say, like, when I first found out about this from, like, the preview, the trailer, I was so excited because, like, my childhood heart was so happy about this, and I'm just, like, so excited. And if
your childhood dreams just waited for 2 Spice Girls to be on the circle.
If I was on the circle with 2 Spice Girls, I would die.
Oh yeah, and I know you This is especially a big deal for you because I know you said like back in like Celebrity Big Brother, you talked about how like you really wanted Baby Spice on and then she wasn't. So like it's cool to see her on like the Circle instead. Like it's very coincidental that happened. It's like we're not going to get her on CBB, but we get her on the Circle.
Yes. And also that was the end of episode 1, so we will be talking about episode 2.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to leave before we get to the episode I want to talk about.
Yeah, you might.
Oh.
Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll see.
Spencer's laughing at me off camera.
Yeah.
All right. Melanie Brown and Emma Bunton are huge fans of the Circle, and they are going in as a catfish, but have no idea who they will be playing as.
Which I really like that, actually. I like that idea that like they don't even get to like choose who they're catfishing as. It's like whatever they throw at them, it's gotta go.
I thought it'd be funny if they did get to choose and they pick like 2 other Spice Girls.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I like they get to challenge themselves. I think it's more exciting.
It's so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
They get their first alert that the players in the Circle rated each other for the first time and that Frank was given the chance to choose a new player to join, but he chose their catfish profile. They will be playing as Jared, who is 28 and a children's author. Mel immediately doesn't like how unfriendly he looks, but Emma seems to like his appearance. And however, Mel B feels he looks friendlier in other pictures, and they debate what to say in his profile.
And the dynamic between these two, like right off the bat, like this is what I wanted the sisters last year to be. Like what we get from these two, like them bickering back and forth, but like still being able to like play pretty well, I would say. Like I think they legitimately do a pretty good job in these 2 episodes, for especially like what their mission is. I think they do a pretty good job here. I just am really liking the dynamic between the 2 of them. I think that they're doing a pretty good job at like, you know, like I said, playing the game, but also just being very fun to watch. Like I was really hoping the sisters last season would have been like what we're getting from Mel B and Emma, where they're not hurting each other's games, but they're still like bickering back and forth in like a really like fun way.
Oh, for sure. I think it's just so fun to watch them, and like they've like proven to be so good at like this game. They're very good at catfishing. They're just very smart. They're really funny, and like I love them together so much. Like their friendship is everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I finally have something important to contribute to this conversation right now.
Okay.
So, when the trailers came out, I saw comparisons to the whole Lance Bass thing.
Yeah.
Was that season 2 or 3?
That's season 2, and the reason I can see what that was about.
I was going to say, can someone explain that to me? Because I did not watch The Circle. Though.
Yeah, so people were very worried that they were misleading us this season because season 2, they showed a trailer, said Lance Bass was going to be in the game. Turned out to not be Lance Bass. It's Lance Bass's like personal assistant who really did not know him that well and did not play well at all. So like, yeah, a lot of people were worried the same thing was going to happen here, where they were teasing that we were going to be the Spice Girls, but it wasn't actually the Spice Girls. So I like that we actually like have them. Like they didn't bullshit us again.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what that was about. But yeah, so we see everyone is reflecting on the first ratings, and Brew is very worried how he's being perceived and feels he needs to make sure he reinforces the good guy image. And Emma and Mel then get a message that they are about to join their game, and we get a little bit more of a sense of what they're really here for. They're not necessarily here to win the game. Their mission is actually to stay undetected, and if they succeed, they will increase the prize fund for the other players. And I actually like this quite a bit because as much as it would be cool to like get the Spice Girls at the finale, you know, the players that are there probably need this money a lot more for other things. I think that it's just, it makes more sense to have the 2 of them there just to like increase the prize fund, but also still get to play the game. So it's not like, it's not like their time is wasted or anything. I like this a lot, actually.
Oh yeah. I think it's like a really cool, like and unique twist.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to incorporate them. Like if they were going to do it, this is the way to do it. Yeah. So players in the game then become aware of Jared, and Brew asks about Jared's children's books, and Mel and Emma are really unsure what to say at first, which was a really funny segment to watch because
it's so funny.
Mel just randomly says that like it's about animals and poo, and that's exactly what they go with, which I thought was so funny.
It was hilarious.
So they then play the same cake game as last season, and I didn't like this for several reasons. One, because I actually ended up liking it last season, if you guys remember. Like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then they found a way to kind of tie it into what was going on. It's because of the fact it was late enough in the game to where this could make an impact, because they added the whole thing last season of they make a cake, but then they also not just in addition to making a cake, they make it for someone in the game. That's not really what they do this time around. And I just felt like this comp came in a little too early. So I wasn't really a big fan of it. I didn't like that they called it a fan favorite comp, because it's like there's no, this fan is not a fan. There's no fan favorite games. The fan favorite game is the game that's being played, not this. There's no.
Ah, yes, the fan favorite twist, Battle of the Block.
Not that. Very much the same energy though, but they are immediately suspicious of Jared, Paul, and Carol, especially. Yep. And this was like a really bad moment for all three of them. Like, this was the only moment where I thought John did not do a great job. Mainly because like his cake doesn't look like something like a middle-aged woman would make. It looks like something like a 20-something white male from Jersey would make. But
yeah, right. So basically that was something that he would make on his own.
Yeah, so that wasn't a great moment for him. And then Parker's cake was just way too like way too neat. Like, does not look like something a guy would make at all. So that was like a really bad moment for her. And then I'm trying to remember what the problem with Jared's was. I think it was just like it just didn't align with like what his really looked like. But not a great moment for any of the catfishes here.
No.
So Crissa also thinks that Brew may be a catfish, but based on his message saying it's what's on the inside that counts. And this is a flaw of Crissa's game, I think, so far. She overthinks like everything. Like everything that like she thinks, everything that's like very obviously not a catfish, she thinks is a catfish. And I think this could potentially be a problem for her within the game, because it seems like it's
the overthinking could really hurt her.
Well, yeah, because especially like as what without getting to the end, it seems like she's already like losing trust in people, and I think it's because of her just like constantly overthinking on things, and I think that could really end up hurting Crissa in this game. But we'll have to see. It's just something I'm a little worried of. So aside from that, though, Crissa actually does end up winning this, so that's really cool. She did have a really good cake. Brew decides to start a chat with Ling and Alyssa, and he brings up how interested he was in both of their cakes, and he asks for the stories behind both of them. And we get a really great moment from Ling here. He talks about the cake, and it said Ling add gas in Chinese. Her name was very important for her when she became a naturalized citizen within the U.S., and add gas actually means to keep going, and it's a reminder for her to keep gassing herself up. I absolutely love this. I think this was such a good moment for Ling. It shows like how important her culture is, but how much she also like, has that confidence within herself and things like that. It was just, I think this was probably like, aside from one moment in episode 4, this was probably her best moment in the season.
Oh yeah. This was definitely like a very amazing moment for her, and it was just incredible to hear and watch. And like, honestly, like she's definitely starting to work her social game a little bit more. So hopefully she makes it far, because I adore her.
Yeah, I think after this episode, she definitely does improve. Like I said, I was worried in episode 1, but I think she definitely like improves after this. Like I feel like her being lower on like the like rankings kind of gave her that extra boost to like really like work her social game, and I think she does some good work with that.
Yeah, and also I'm kind of here for like this alliance with Alyssa, Brew, and Ling, because like they're all very likable, and like I just think
definitely
it's a very unexpected alliance.
It's probably the strongest alliance Brew has at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Alyssa brings up how much she is ready to take off, but also a nickname for a vibrator in regards to Pocket Rocket. She seems to really like Brew after this.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they're going to stick with that 3, because the one thing that I will say, there is no like solidified alliance right now. Like, it's very hard to tell like which groups are actually going to like stick together, you know, because I feel like at this point last season, like it already was pretty clear that like there was going to be like some formation of the band, even though the band wasn't like a solidified thing yet. So like, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Brew talks about how much his cake experience was, but the idea was to show how much people are beautiful on the inside, which Alyssa takes as maybe him flirting with them.
Which was great.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
She brings up how they can be known as the happy throuple. They all seem to love this conversation and feel it's a good way to move forward. That was like such a funny and iconic conversation.
Yes, and if that actually is like the alliance name they stick with, like I'm fucking here for it.
Oh yeah, I'm so here for it.
Oh yeah.
Parker wants to make a chat with Carol to hopefully convince her to keep her, but also them being close in age.
Which they are technically close in age.
Yep,
so
Carol
like
Baskin.
That wasn't a bad read on her end, but it's also another moment where I'm like, I just kind of wish Parker played as herself.
Yeah. She brings up being family oriented, and John lies when he brings up his occupation through his mom.
Yeah, so this is another thing I think John's doing pretty well. He's really trying to like hide the fact that he is like a social media manager. He doesn't want people to know that has any involvement with that whatsoever. So I think he says he's just like communications and things like that. Which is going to do really good for him, because I think if he had said he was a social media manager, it would have been a little more obvious that he might potentially be catfishing.
Oh yeah, agreed. John gets the sense that Parker is the one playing, especially due to her also saying she's a communications major.
Yes.
This makes him realize there may be more similarities than he thought, and he may need to keep him around based on how similar of a game they're playing.
Probably Parker's best moments, I would say, but not really saying much. Like, she really does not do the best here.
No. Emma and Mel decide to make a chat with Crissa and Frank.
Yes.
Crissa says that when she first came in, she took a liking to Frank, and now seeing Jared with the chicken, she wants to work with him too. And they bond over cakes and other meanings of the word. And by the end, they seem to be a potential alliance. And honestly, I'm kind of here for like the Crissa Frank alliance too, because like they seem to be.
Oh yeah. Strong. They definitely seem like out of all the alliances formed, I feel like that one's probably like the strongest. Like, it seems like those two are probably going to stick with each other to the end. It just seems like that's how it's good. As long as one of them doesn't like, you know, fuck the other over or something like that. Like, I feel like out of the alliances we saw, I feel like Chris and Frank is probably like the most solidified.
Probably.
They're then all given an alert that it is now time for Frank and Carol to decide who to block, barring Jared, who of course is immune. So they both go to the hangouts, and John wants to go into this playing sweet, loving Carol, but wants to make sure it goes his way, but plans to keep the girls while everyone else is on the chopping block. And John really kind of like, not necessarily dictates, but he really kind of like determines what happens here. Like he
really did
a good job, I think, with the hangout here. Because Frank is pretty much open to doing whatever as long as
like he puts in a lot of work.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anyone that he doesn't like at the moment. He just wants to make sure that like Chris is safe. So the two of them talk, and John says that he has loved Frank's personality the whole game, and Frank says that he is so happy to be here, and he's very happy to be doing this with her, and John loves that he's addressing Carol as Mama Carol, and he makes it clear that Alyssa is someone to keep around, especially with how much she reminds her of her family, and Frank then brings up how Crissa isn't an option to him either, especially with how much she has shown herself to be a person that he really wants to be around. So John then tries to do what he can to save Ling, but it seems like Frank hasn't really made as strong of a connection with her and overall seems pretty neutral. Hopefully that's something that like they can work out, because that could definitely be an issue for Ling if Frank is if Frank is one of the influencers.
That could be something that really like screws her over if they don't talk.
Yeah, that's like my only concern with Ling.
Oh shit, I have to go. I will return.
Okay.
All right.
No worries.
Enjoy have a good comp.
Plug one of Puff Games, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, maybe. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. Okay, bye.
See you later.
All right. Oh, that was delayed. But yeah, follow Wonderpuff Games. Always enjoy having him on. So John brings up.
We'll have him again. He just has to do an org comp.
Yeah. So John brings up Paul and says that he feels not chatting with him until he had to and feels that it may just be strategy. He also doesn't trust Brew, but Frank feels that he is being genuine and they can take the time to get to know him a little longer. So again, Brew's not in like the best social standing, but he's not at a point where it seems like he's going to go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say like, give him a week. Like give him a week. Because I don't.
Like 1 week.
I don't feel like it's going to last that long. Like, I just don't see a lot of longevity going Brew's way. I could be wrong, but right now, I just don't really see it. I like him, but, like, I just don't really see it happening. So, with both of them pretty set on an option, they ultimately do decide to probably make the most predictable outcome and block Paul here, which I was, like, overjoyed about because I just was really not liking how Parker was playing at all. Not a fan of her.
Like, if she played as herself, she could have probably made it farther.
Yeah, I really just think she should have played as herself. Easily some of the worst catfishing that I've ever seen. Because here's the thing. We had some bad catfishing last season from Rachel when she catfished as Jackson. But at least with Rachel, like, she made herself seem convincing at first. Like, she was just kind of dry, not really giving a lot.
Like, she was really nice. She was just kind of boring.
Yeah, and she was actually in an okay position. Parker came in, and it seemed like she chose absolutely the wrong person to catfish as because, I mean, she literally said she didn't know her dad's occupation. She didn't know, like, anything about him. She didn't understand any of these, like, references. It just doesn't really seem like she was prepared. Like, if you're going to be a catfish, you need to do your homework because that's the person that you're going to be playing as for the entire game. It's almost like taking on a whole new identity. And that's something I think Parker just didn't consider. Like, this isn't just like you're catfishing. You are becoming a new person in that way when you're in the game. And I don't think Parker really considered that at all. I feel like she thought this was going to be like really easy and it wasn't, which like that can happen. But I just really just appalled by how bad she played here.
Yeah. Ugh.
So Parker's very sad to see this, especially having what she thought was a really good conversation with Carol. I mean, it wasn't really the best, but John realizes that after this, they are back to 7 and the girls have the numbers, which means he has successly been able to pull off his mission. And this is a great move for John. Like, generally, really cool this hangout, I think.
He literally dictated this whole thing.
And I love like how fucking sneaky he's being. Like, nobody because of the fact that he's playing as someone like Carol, who just seems like this really sweet, like older woman, nobody is suspecting that John's going to be like as cutthroat as he really is. And I think that's why his catfishing is like some of the best that I've seen. Like, it's really working out for him.
He's very sneaky, but low key.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. So I'm a big fan of the way John's playing so far. But Parker's then told before she leaves she can meet one player face to face. And that is how episode 2 does end. We're going to get into episode 3, which sadly is the episode that I know Mike really wanted to discuss. Unfortunately, was not able to do so. But Allie's going to talk about episode 3 here.
We love Mike. We do. Shout out to Mike. Paul, as in Parker, goes to see Carol, who's John. They are both shocked at who they actually both are.
Yes.
John tells her he didn't expect her whatsoever, and she says she didn't expect him to be so good looking. And they bond over playing as their parents and why they didn't play as themselves. Okay, I'm just going to say, this is like, I love this moment, honestly. Like, this is really like Parker's best moment.
Oh, yeah.
And like, he was just very genuine. And I see them dating after the season.
Yeah, you honestly took the words right out of my mouth there. Like, I was going to say, like, this to me was like an indicator that if Parker had played as herself, she would have done so much better in the game. Because you can see, like, with her not having to cover up as Paul, she's just so much more natural at this. Like, she just is able to really just chill and like lay back and just be herself. And I think her deciding to catfish was like the worst possible decision that she could have made, because just through this conversation with John, it makes me think she could have gone a lot farther if she just played as herself.
Yeah, and I mean, she was definitely flirting with him too.
Oh yeah, and I could definitely see them dating as well, especially with like how close in age they are and things like that.
Oh, for sure.
It reminded me a lot of the scene with like Rachel and Nick last season when they first meet. And like the fact that like it seemed like they were, I don't know if they dated or anything like that, but it seemed like they were going to.
I think she liked him. I don't know if he liked her though.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it very much reminded me of like that that face-to-face meetup.
Yeah. John said he felt he would come across as more genuine playing his mom, and Parker felt she would do a lot better as her dad because of how often bitchy she feels she comes across.
Which I really don't think she does, like, to be honest with you. I don't think that Parker's like a bad person or anything. Like, I don't think she's like this condescending, like rude person. Yeah, she seems a little spoiled. Like, I'll be honest, she definitely does. Like, she seems like a typical sorority girl, but I wouldn't say that she's like bitchy or like conniving or anything like that. Like, she seems like just like a generally like chill person. And I think that if she had gone into the circle just playing as herself, I just think it would have boded a lot better for her.
Oh yeah, for sure. They both talk about Brew and that who is a TikToker, and John recognizes him right away, but obviously can't mention it as Carol. They feel Jared is a bit of a kiss ass because he's newer.
Yep.
And he talks about his mom's love for Rod Stewart, and she lets him know while she was initially going to tell him off, she now feels a positive vibe towards him and feels this could hint at a beginning of a greater love story and makes it clear she is rooting for him.
And I'm here for it. Like, I'm here if these two get together, because I think it would be really cute if they did. I'm not quite on the train that I was for Kay and Calvin last season. As you guys know, I was a big fan of those two, but I'm here if those two, like, at the end of the season, are like, yeah, we're together. Like, I'd be here for that.
Oh, I'd be here for it.
Yeah.
He's really taken aback by her appearance and feels this is a double win for him as long as Carol is still in the game.
Oh yeah.
Before leaving, Parker leaves a message which says that her big personality couldn't fit inside a 56-year-old man, and she warns them to not trust everyone that they talk to.
And like, she really kind of like low-key throws John under the bus here. Like, this is not a good moment at all what she does, which I thought was really funny, because like she just had this really good like face-to-face meetup and then just like throws him under, unless she filmed that like before. I don't know entirely how that
I don't know if she filmed it before or not, or
I'm not sure.
John admits that Parker went to visit her last night, and which makes people immediately think that Carol is also a catfish.
I just really think John should not have said this.
No.
Like, this was a bad moment.
That was like, that could be the downfall of his game.
Yeah, I was a little worried for John when he did that.
He was doing so well until that.
And he still is. This was something that could have potentially really hurt him. And if you guys remember last season, I was really annoyed that people kept revealing like who they went to see. And it seems to be carrying over this season. So not great. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to always be honest and tell people who saw you. Like, that's not something you need to do. So Alyssa really wants to call Carol out for this and brings up how much better Paul's cake was than Carol's, which everyone is very much taken aback by. And Mel kind of jumps on this narrative that Alyssa isn't real either, which I didn't really understand why she thought this. Like, yes, Alyssa was like really coming in hard. It was like a very like subtle knock at Carol in that way, but like, I don't really feel like this made her look suspicious or anything like that. So I wasn't entirely sure why Mel had that read. It was a little off.
Yeah, no.
So John tries to clear it up by saying that Carol wasn't much of a baker and she hopes that she can take some lessons from her. And nobody seems to really believe Carol after this. But again, I think John has done a good enough job socially to where he's mostly able to get out of this. At least I hope so.
He's actually been doing a little bit better, but yeah.
So Alyssa then starts a private chat with Jared, of course, Mel and Emma, and she wanted to check in since they came into the game at a very dramatic time, and they're appreciative of her checking in with them. And Alyssa wants Jared to feel close enough to her to want to protect her. So she asks them about traveling in both of their careers, and she feels more confident that he is who he says he is after this, but still isn't 100%. And what I like about this cast so far is that they are focusing on who's a catfish, but they're not like completely fixated on it like season 2. Like that was the one thing in season 2 I was a little annoyed by. Like, why do you care so much who's a catfish and who's not? It's like Alyssa's keeping this in the back of her mind, but it's not necessarily like impeding. Like it's not necessarily like impeding her relationships.
Like I was appreciative that she like was just trying to work her social game.
Yeah. And she's really smart, honestly. Like I'm very impressed by her strategic mind.
Oh yeah, she's very strategic and very low-key.
So John then reaches out to Ling and says that she's a lovely young lady, and that's why she chose to save her last night, and that she'll always have her back. Ling really appreciates this and says that she's always here for her, and she feels this signaling that she is Carol's favorite of the group. Again, really nice moments for John. I think he is just doing a really good job of getting everyone on his good side. So when things come up, like what came up with the cake, for example, it just doesn't really seem like it's going to be a big factor. So again, I think he's just doing a good job with that. But then we get introduced.
Like Ling is definitely like improving on her social game.
Yeah. So then we get introduced to 2 more intruders. And Allie's going to talk about the first one here.
All right. Next is Rachel. She's 29. She's a paranormal researcher, and she's from Houston, Texas. She had paranormal experiences as a kid, which allowed her to open up that part of her brain. She says growing up as a Jewish chubby kid, nobody liked her, and that nobody told her that she was a dweeb. So she has grown up her entire life thinking she's just the coolest. People have started to become more comfortable in telling her that she's not, but she still doesn't believe them. She's going to be playing as herself because she thinks she's the best. And she feels she will be a threat who people will perceive as the happy, kooky one, but in reality, she will be attacking them from behind. She thinks her humor and niceties will
Niceties.
She thinks her humor and niceties will help her win the game. And she sprays some witch oil to guarantee her a win, and she makes sure her profile picture is one with her showcasing her personality.
I don't like her that much. I will be honest.
I don't dislike her. I just find her kind of boring. Like she's nice and stuff, but like I just find her kind of
I mean, she seems like
she's just not that interesting.
Yeah, she seems like a nice person, but like just in general, like I'm not really getting much of anything from her. I'm really getting the sense that she's going to be one of those intruders that just is kind of irrelevant by the end of the season. Like we're going to see.
I don't see her making it that far.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're going to see her like in the finale. We're going to be like, oh yeah, Rachel. Like, I just don't really feel like she's going to make much of an impact. And maybe that's going to change, but just what she does in these 2 episodes, it just doesn't really impress me. And also just, she talks about being a paranormal investigator and we don't really do much of anything with that. So in terms of like the cast that we get here, she's probably one of the weaker ones for me.
Oh yeah.
It's like Parker and then Rachel's right above, I would say.
Yeah.
Parker's definitely like the dud of the season for me in terms of casting. But right below is like above.
I will say I like her self-confidence, but like, yeah. She's just kind of like there for me.
She's kind of bland.
Yeah. And then the next person is Alex Brizard.
Yes.
Which we know him. We know him from the community.
Yes. We also love his girlfriend.
The Twitter community. And yes, shout out to Nikki. We love her. But yeah, he's 28. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona, and he's a commercial banker and feels he is a catfish in real life because his personal and professional life is very different. He's very much into gaming, and he plans to catfish as Nathan, who is a frat boy fresh out of college. When in reality, he's very calculated and strategic, and as long as he can craft the perfect profile, he can win this game. He makes a profile saying Nathan is fun employed to hopefully lower his threat level.
And I think it's just really fun to see someone like Alex on this season because you can just see like he's so excited to be there. And I think that excitement is really translating well with Nathan. But I think he's also like legitimately doing a good job with catfishing so far. Like nobody really seems on to Nathan. He's doing a good job of like just playing this like very just like typical frat boy. Like I think he's overall doing a good job of like really kind of lowering like his threat level in that way. So because we know how Alex plays, Alex is very much snaky in that way when he plays.
Like he's a very good player.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. Very, very good villain. Like very good villain. Very much one. Like very much one, but very good at it. When he starts to make those more strategic plays, I think it's really gonna work out well for him. I think he came in at like the perfect time when the game is like kind of starting to heat up and he's like kind of just like in the center of it all. To where I think he is going to be able to pull in some people, and I think he does have potential to get really far in this game. So I'm very impressed by Alex so far.
Yeah, I'm impressed by him too. Like he's actually playing a very good catfish, and like he's just being strategic and very low key, and yeah, I can see him making it pretty far.
Yeah.
Alex is happy to see someone else is entering with him, and feels Alyssa is someone Nathan would be into.
Mm-hmm.
They both get the option to invite two people to a chat,
which I think they did last season as well. And I like that they carried that over here.
Yeah, I like that too. Actually, it's like
it's a good way for them to like
get to know people.
Get to know people without having to like look desperate.
Yeah.
It's a lot more natural in that way.
Yeah, it's very genuine.
Yeah.
Rachel invites Ling and Jared to a chat, and she tells them she wanted to message both of them because of what they said on their profiles. Ling talks to her about how superstitious she is and that she also makes artist books in her spare time and should collab with Jared on a children's book.
And I thought this was going to be a really bad moment for like Mel and Emma because they're like, oh no, like because they keep forgetting like that they're supposed to be like children's book authors, which I think is really funny. So I thought this was going to be like a really bad moment for them, but they seem to catch themselves pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too, honestly. Because like it could have went either good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just worried because, like I said, like they keep forgetting their occupation that they're playing.
I know. Nathan, as an Alex, invites Frank and Brew to a chat. He says he got the best first vibes off of their profiles, and he tries to take this time to see where everyone currently is in the game and to recognize who the influencers were last round. Frank admits he is one of them, and he and Carol went with the player they knew the least. Nathan gives props to both of them and says he wants to wingman one of both of them, and by the end, it seems they have an alliance of sorts, and Alex feels both will be crucial for his game.
And one of the things I really like that Alex is doing is that he's trying to play the game, not thinking about like who he would work with, who like Nathan would work with. Like he's very adamant about like Nathan would not do this, and I think that's something that like he's doing really well so far. And yes, we do. Hi, Jazzy. We do love Mel and Emma a lot.
Also, we need to get Jazzy on here, like either next week or the week after.
Yeah, we'll see what we do.
Or the finale, whatever happens. We'll see.
Any of you want to, come onto the Circle podcast, just like the tweet that I posted
on our podcast account.
Yeah, we already got some likes on there, so we'll have to talk about that after this.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously we can get like a couple people on at once. Like, doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, it's only 3 weeks, so
yeah, 3-4 weeks. Yeah, I mean, if it is 4 weeks, it could be because of the finale.
Well, yeah, 4 weeks.
She says, "Yes, please. I'll send you all my schedule."
Yes,
I know my schedule for the whole month. Perfect.
All right, that's good.
They then get a message they will all be having a 90s party, which I love.
Which this I actually liked because it was relevant to the season. It wasn't just random.
Yeah. It was so fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Mel and
Emma,
I
also love Mel and Emma being like, wait, this is our music. This is like they were so like taken aback by like the fact that like their music was playing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Mel and Emma are given an alert. The other players will be told that Milby and Emma are secretly playing behind one of the profiles, and they will vote for the one they are behind.
Yes.
Everyone bonds over 90s stuff, specifically involving the Spice Girls, which Mel and Emma mostly stay away from. Alex's Nathan also has to pretend he isn't familiar with any 90s culture.
Which he did a really good job with, because you could tell that like Nathan, like Alex was like generally really excited to like talk about this stuff, but like he really had to like pull himself back and like recognize that like Nathan wouldn't. So I thought that was another really good moment for him.
Yeah. Jazzy says the 90s party was so fun and it was so cute having Mel and Emma there. Yes. Right. We love them jamming to Wannabe.
Yes.
Mel and Emma then deliver the news, and everyone is expectedly shocked, and that is how episode 3 ends.
I was very surprised that they did this so early on. Like, I thought that they were at least going to give them like a couple rounds to like kind of like ingratiate themselves in the game.
Yeah.
But like they immediately like, you know, basically had, you know, set that paranoia in, and it makes for a very exciting episode 4, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like I kind of did wish they would at least have them go for a couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very entertaining for sure.
Well, because I think they might be done after the next episode, because we see in the preview for next week, like they're on their way to like meet someone face to face. So I think they might be done, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope not, because I mean, I'd love to see them stay.
Yeah, no, I hope not either.
They can pull through, hopefully.
Well, they're also not there to win, so it might just be like a, you know, limited time thing. So everyone talks in the circle chat about how excited they are to be talking to the Spice Girls, even though they don't know which one it is. And immediately there's suspicion that it could be Rachel based on her. Then this was a really bad for Rachel. She's like constantly referencing the Spice Girls, all this stuff that she knows. Yeah, that's my theory too, Jazzy. I think so.
Actually, I feel like it's either going to be Mel and Emma done or Rachel is going.
No, I don't think Jazzy's talking about the blocking. I think she's talking about like their mission itself.
Yeah.
Like in the next episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just feel like, but if they don't leave, I feel like it could be Rachel based on this.
Yeah. So Nathan's wondering what exactly the consequences are, and Mel and Emma feel that he has made himself look really suspicious after this, which, this was not a good moment for Alex when he's like, that
was not good for him, sadly.
Oh, they could do that too. They could do like whoever is blocked, maybe Mel and Emma go to meet them.
That would be cool.
That'd be interesting if they did that.
I'd like that.
So nobody seems to think that it's Jared, which is really good for Mel and Emma for a bit.
Right.
So Frank then talks with Crissa, and she seems to think that it may be Carol, and she hopes that by sharing this information, it'll show how much she trusts him. And he tells her that he's had his doubts about Carol since Parker said that there was someone who couldn't be trusted. But he also is having second thoughts on Jared because of how he was brought into the circle, and immediately wanted to chat with both of them. And she says that she would be upset if it was Jared, but it has crossed her mind that they need to figure it out together. And again, not a great moment for Crissa. I think that her biggest mistake within this episode is really like throwing Carol under the bus here. Like, Carol is someone that clearly wants to work with Crissa, made that whole like, you know, girls chat and things like that. And it seems like Crissa just isn't like staying loyal to that for some reason. And I think that might be a mistake for her.
I actually feel like Crissa could be one of the next few boots just because her decisions can be very iffy.
Which sucks because, like, first 2 episodes, I'm like, oh no, Chris is making it far in this game. But after this, like, it could really hurt her.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So that wasn't great. We then see Alex invites Jared to a private chat. He continues to play up the idea that Nathan doesn't know nor is into the Spice Girls, and Emma and Mel, meanwhile, really play up this idea that Jared is only into the Spice Girls through his sister. And they basically then compare notes about who the the Spice Girls may be. And Alex thinks that it could be Rachel and feels he may need to use Rachel as a scapegoat, who he initially wanted to work with, but she is now his number one suspect. this is the first time I think we have actively seen someone who came in with someone like immediately turn on them. Like we've never really seen that happen before. Like I feel like most of the time intruders come into the game together, they mostly want to try to work together. This is the first time Alex is like, you know what, fuck Rachel, like let's just throw her under the bus. Like she's not good for my game. So I think again it's a testament to Rachel just not doing a great job like socially.
No, she's really not doing it very good at all. Like Alex and Rachel came in together and Alex is like, nope, I don't trust her.
And Alex is doing a much better job so far. So Mel and Emma talk about how they think that it could be Alyssa, and they use her bio as evidence to prove that she could be them. And Alex says that he's also suspicious of Alyssa, and their point makes a lot of sense. I think they did a good job with like really trying to throw it onto Alyssa and kind of like, you know, take any sort of like, you know, doubt off of themselves.
They did really good
there. I don't really know if it's stuck. That's the thing. Like, I don't know if anyone was actually convinced like, oh, it's definitely Alyssa. So I get what they were trying to do. I don't know if it worked.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Alyssa. She's adorable.
So everyone then takes a Spice Girls quiz, which makes everyone really suspicious of each other. The most notable moment, I think, is when Rachel has to say like it's something about a music video, stop motion for the Spice Girls, and she gets the question wrong, which like really seems to like throw people off because she's been like really hyping herself up as like this mega fan and things like that. And she immediately gets the question wrong. And also Mel and Emma deliberately answer the question wrong for the movie, which of course is Spice World. Immediately
they were really trying to throw it off.
Yeah, which I thought was really funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, and then Alyssa, I think, also like answered a question wrong because she wanted to like protect herself. Just a really funny moment. Just some really funny moments all around here with the quiz. Again, I'm not usually a big fan of the games, but when they're relevant to the game, then I like them. And this was definitely one I enjoyed quite a bit. So Ling decides to make a chat with Nathan, and they actually are flirting back and forth a little bit. And we get this moment where Alex shouts out Nikki and says, like, Nikki, I'm sorry, which I thought was really funny.
I love this. It was so funny.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that could be true. I just think what Rachel did a really bad job with was like really like make herself seem like she was like this uber fan and she knew everything, and then not answer the question right. It just was not a great look for her.
No, not at all. Like she really made herself more suspicious. And I will say this like conversation, and also we stand Alex shutting out Nikki.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we do love that. So Nathan talks about how much he loves going to the beach and the pool of the bar, and she talks about how she loves to skateboard, and he can always find her looking for the perfect snack, which she thinks he is. And this seems to clear any real suspicion she has at him being the Spice Girls. I was getting flashbacks to like Delisa and Chloe from this conversation. Like, I don't know if it's going to go as deep as that did, but it generally seems like Ling thinks that Nathan likes her, which is clearly not.
She does, right?
So I don't know where this is headed, but if we get a storyline where Ling starts to like grow an attraction towards Nathan, meanwhile Nathan is Alex, who has, you know, is in a very committed relationship, I think it could be a really fun story. So yeah, I thought this was a really fun moment.
I thought it was like so fun, and like this like really could like be good for her game, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Rachel invites Mel and Emma to a private chat, and she talks about how she wanted to check in to see how he was doing after the quiz, and felt embarrassed after getting the question wrong that she did.
Yeah.
Rachel hopes to connect with Jared, and Mel and Emma, as Jared says that he didn't know anything about the Spice Girls, so he isn't embarrassed to say he didn't get any right, and she shouldn't bring herself down about it.
Which I think they did a good job here with like not trying to throw Rachel under the bus and like kind of try to bond with her over it.
Yeah, I like that too, honestly.
Yeah.
Jared throws out Nathan and Alyssa as options for who the Spice Girls may be, and lets her know Nathan is very much onto her. He tells her to pay attention to Alyssa's profile, and after she does so, it seems like she is in agreement.
And again, I just don't really feel like Rachel is really doing much with this information. Like, it really just seems like she's kind of keeping it to herself. She's not really like
she's not like telling people that it's not her and such like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just feel like Rachel's like very expendable because like I just don't feel like any of the connections that she's really made. I mean, it also could be we don't see a lot of her in this episode. Like, this is really the only moments we get of Rachel, so they might just not be giving her like the best edit. But right now, I just don't really feel like she's doing much.
Oh, for sure. Like, Rachel probably won't make it that far, sadly.
No. I could see her literally being the next person that's blocked.
Same. Just based on like not connecting with many people.
Yeah.
Immediately after this, Alyssa has invited them to a private chat. Yeah. And she brings up immediately how she doesn't understand how he didn't know the Spice World. And they talk about how they were suspicious of her, but now feel she is being real with them. She looks at her profile and realizes why they would be onto her.
Which I love the moment where she like realizes like how suspicious like her profile was like unintentionally.
That was so good. It was so funny. Yeah. She's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
She says she didn't even put it together until they said it. Yeah. And says her only suspicion is on Carol because of how she said she was an avid baker, but then didn't make the greatest looking cake. They seem to agree and feel with so many suspicions this can hopefully throw off the scent on either of them, but it seems Alyssa is still unconvinced.
Yeah, this was a good conversation, I would say, but I don't really feel like Mel and Emma do the greatest job at not making themselves look incredibly suspicious here, because Alyssa's very much still onto them by the end of this.
She is. She's like, I don't trust them. Brew talks to Carol and they talk about the Spice Girls, which Brew doesn't seem much information about, and John, as Carol presents to him, that it could be either Nathan or Jared.
Yeah.
And they both agree they can't tell if either of them is being genuine or if they are trying to cover themselves.
Yeah, which I thought was really funny. Like, neither of them knew if like they were being genuine here.
It's so funny, right?
Yeah.
Mel and Emma are given an alert that the players are about to vote for the profile they think they are playing. If they have fooled the majority of the players, $50,000 will be added to the prize money. And everybody then goes ahead and votes, and they go one by one to see who everyone voted for.
Which I love that they did it one by one. It was so much more dramatic that way.
Yeah. I love this so much. It's like, like it's super dramatic, it's intense, and it just makes it more fun to watch.
Yeah.
We start with Brew, who voted for Rachel.
Yes.
Alyssa voted for Jared because she's
which is not shocking.
Right. Carol voted for Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan voted for Rachel. Crissa voted for Carol.
Yeah, which this one I do need to bring up a bit because this is a really bad moment for Crissa here. Like, you can see John's not just like mad, like he's legitimately upset. Like, it seemed like he really trusted Crissa, thought that like she had his back. So I don't see this going well for Crissa moving forward. Like,
this could really screw over her game because it was just not strategic at all.
Especially if Carol's like an influencer, this would not be great for her. Like, even if you have those doubts about Carol, I compare this to like Alyssa. Alyssa clearly has doubts about Carol, but she's not going to throw Carol under the bus because she's supposed to be in this alliance with her and she wants to like stay on her good side in that way. Whereas Crissa is in an alliance with Carol and is already like throwing her under the bus to like everyone she could think of. So
I think
and really making it known that she's like targeting her after this. Like, this was really not good.
Yeah, like John's gonna feel so betrayed.
Yeah, like John definitely is not gonna forget.
Like, maybe they'll have some damage control. Who knows?
I don't know. It does not seem good for Crissa.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. And then Frank votes for Jared.
Yep.
And then Rachel voted for, we don't know, because that is how the episode ends.
Which I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you can't at least tell us who everyone voted for. So this is my prediction is that I think that the rest of them voted for Jared. I think that's what's probably going to happen. And then,
or I could see Rachel maybe voting for Alyssa.
I don't really know. Like, I feel like Rachel.
She was also because of the conversation with Mel and Emma.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's really hard to say. But I feel like Ling probably votes for Jared because she's not going to vote for Nathan, obviously. And she's not going to vote for Alyssa either. And then who's left? I think that's it. Yeah, it's just Ling and Rachel.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I have a suspicion that, like I said, I think regardless of what happens, I think Mel and Emma are probably done after the next episode because they've completed their mission. Like, because again, they're not there to play the game; they're there to add money to the prize fund. So the game is not about them like getting farther or being rated. It's about them being able to complete this mission. And
so that's what they were there for. But it's either going to be Mel and Emma or Rachel, I think, who leave.
Well, no, I don't think you get what I'm saying. What I'm saying is regardless of what happens, I think Mel and Emma are probably leaving in the next episode because I think they've completed their mission. So even if they're undetected, I think they're probably done. And I think
so too.
I think whoever is thrown under the bus, I think is probably going to be the one to meet with them face to face. So we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I just have a suspicion that like it's like they're done after the next episode.
I think so too, but we'll see.
Yeah, because we see a scene in the trailer of them like walking over to someone. We also get a moment in the trailer that I do want to talk about. Delisa's husband, Trevor, the real Trevor, is going to be playing the game. So that's very exciting. How that's gonna go. I don't know how well he's gonna do, but like that's what I'm saying, Jazzy. I think
that's what I'm saying too.
I think regardless, like they're probably done after the next episode, which is like it's fine. It's the season's not about them. Like they're there to add money to the prize fund. They did what they needed to, and yes, I'm very excited for Trevor.
I'm so excited for him. Like I hope he does really well, just like Delisa.
I will say I could be overthinking this, but they didn't show who the second intruder is, so maybe it could be someone famous. There were rumors
there was rumors that for Spicy V, so maybe
and Bryce from Survivor as well.
Bryce too.
Yeah, Bryce Isaiah. So it could be one of them. I'm not sure.
Possibly.
We'll see. We'll see. I remember before the Spice Girls were revealed, people were thinking the spicy thing was all about like Victoria. So
yeah, they were.
I don't know.
I mean, if she's on, I'm very here for it.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool if it happens. But either way, like I'm feeling really good about this cast. I think after this first batch of episodes, like I said, as long as we continue the level of gameplay we're getting here, as long as we continue the level of entertainment we're getting here, I think this has potential to be probably the best season yet.
I think so too. Honestly.
How well everything is going. So we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out. But I'm definitely feeling much better than I did at this time last season.
Me too. This season is just like nobody is unlikable, but obviously there's a few that are iffy. But like nobody is unlikable.
Yeah, no, even Rachel, who I don't like that much. I wouldn't say she's like unlikable. She's just kind of like boring and dry for me.
Yeah.
And then Parker, it wasn't that she was like unlikable. I just found her very just like boring. Like she's just a typical like.
I mean, I found her a little annoying, but I didn't hate her. I thought she was nice, and like I did love her. I did love her conversation with John.
I don't blame you. It was not good.
No.
The winner still is like surprising to me.
Right. Same.
Yeah, no, I don't really like Parker very much at all. Just a very typical like sorority girl who I think would have done a lot better. And I think we would have liked her more if she played as herself. But unfortunately,
she would have been so much better as herself. But I see her. I definitely see her and John dating after the season.
Possibly. We'll have to see. People to watch out for, I think, just right off the bat, Alyssa and Frank, I think, are really the two that are like kind of locked for the ending at this point. I feel like they're playing the best solid games. I think that really no one is really like on their radar except for like Mel and Emma, but that's not really going to be relevant after this round. So I think they're probably locked for the end. And John still is playing very well. My only concern is just like a couple things here and there. I don't know how he's going to be able to get out of it. But people like Crissa, people like Brew, people like Rachel, I feel like they're probably gonna go next, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
have
don't.
to see.
Yeah, I see that too. Because like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see Brew making it that far. He's nice and everything, and he's entertaining, but yeah, I can see him being one of the next few.
He
Same
just
with
hasn't.
Crissa.
He doesn't really have anything like very like well solidified. Like
No, I mean besides the happy throuple.
Yeah, unless that's like a thing, which I'm not sure if it's gonna be now. Especially with like Ling getting closer to Nathan. I don't really know like if that's actually gonna be a thing, but we'll have to see.
We'll see.
So you also, in terms of like entertainment, Ling is like my favorite easily. So yeah, I worry for them too, but I think they're both doing like really good, and I think John especially is very impressive. So
I can see them. I mean, I could see John and Alex making it like either to the end or like come up a little short.
Yeah, it always seems like it's like a few like people who play as themselves and then like a couple catfishes. Like it always seems like that's what happens every season. So
yeah.
There's definitely a possibility that both of them make it to the end, but we'll have to see. But other than that, that's it for our coverage of this first week of The Circle. Very excited to see how the rest of the season does go down. Is there anything else you want to say before we close things out here?
I mean, I'm just excited to see the next few episodes. Like, it's going to be coming on tonight at 3 a.m. Eastern. So we'll definitely watch as much as we can before I go back to work this weekend. Or maybe we could get them done.
We should be able to.
And I'm excited to have some more guests on and obviously have Mike back because obviously he had to leave because of org.
Yeah.
But
he'll be on every week.
Yeah, because he wanted to be on for like Alex and everything. So he'll be on for the whole season, and I'm excited to have more people on. And I'm just very excited to see what happens with the season. And stay tuned for the rest of Survivor.
Yes. We're going to be covering the last 3 episodes. We'll have to see how it goes. It's been a great season so far, so I feel like we're going to have a really strong end game. And we're also going to be doing, I guess, a full season review of Beyond the Edge. I said it before. I have no idea what the hell we're going to talk about.
I mean, we probably won't talk about much, but I mean, we'll at least like say our thoughts.
Yeah, might as well, I guess. We watched the whole thing, so we'll talk about whatever the hell that show is. But anyway,
there's only 2 more episodes.
But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in our next video.
And also we'll probably be covering BB24. But obviously, hopefully it's a good season. We're very weary.
Yeah, definitely. But we will see you guys in our next video, and we will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bye, love y'all.